we'll start right there, right above your head. Okay, so obviously we got HEPA filters up there on the supply. This is supply. Steam distribution wands, if you stand over here, you can see them on the ductwork right there. They're vertical discharge. See them there?
Yep.
Okay. You see them up in there?
Yeah, you got them, Joe.
Those are the steam coils?
That's the steam coil, right? Yeah, steam distribution wands.
So on, Richie? Steam come back through those little holes.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly it, right? That's why I wanted to show you those, because that's really important to take a look and note of what you've got in there, because this is your steam header right here. And I'm sure you guys got these all over the place in the hospital, right? So you've got a steam distribution wand, you got your drip tee at the end there. See that trap coming down on the end there? What that's for is excess steam. So when we are producing steam, you'll have a full chest of steam. Whatever can't get out of there, it'll condense and end up in that trap, right? When it does condense, it'll go down to the bottom, and there's another drip tube at the bottom, and it'll come out of that drain to the left there. You see that one? Yep, exactly. It'll come down, come back into here, and go in there, right? If we're getting a ton of that, that should come right in here, right? So they're going to a waste system, right? You're not going to see a ton of stuff coming out of there, but you see a little bit, because most of it will be absorbed through the air. So if you come back here, and I'm going to move back here, right here. This is our water bath, right? Our steam bath back here. Okay, so if you guys want to take steam bath, you can pop this top off. With these, you've got it's pretty simple. You got a fill valve in there, right? And you got some heating elements. And what they're doing is they're using the water and the steam to generate it on there. This is our control panel for here. And with that being said, that top needs to be at least looked at once a year. Okay? And so you have to pop the top and pop the unions and look at this, because obviously you got them in every place else. You know what forms in there. You get a bunch of scale and stuff in there. Now, whether the first year you need to do anything with it, possibly not, right? Depending on your water quality, right? If your water quality is good, you'll normally have to not deal with it. But if you do, you might have to take and clean out the scale out of there, right? Because we don't want the water elements covered with scale, because otherwise it won't work very good. Okay, so that gasket on top there, before you pop it and say I'm going to do maintenance on this, make sure you got the gasket, just in case. You may not need it, right? Can we pop the top off?
If you do, you do.
Yes, right.
Silicone,
Yeah, right, exactly, right. RTV, nah, we're good. We'll slap it down on there, right? It's all good, right? So that's your water bath there. You got back here, you got a steam heat exchanger. So they're converting it to hot water, right, for this unit here. So we're coming down here. We got a steam heat exchanger up here. We've got obviously actuators for all this. And then we've got in the back there, and we'll look at that in a little bit, we got our expansion tank, we got our Rollatrol, right, and then we got our pumps. We're gonna turn around right behind you right now, and we're gonna look at this. So before we go too far, you see those bolts right there? Those right there, yep, that panel there, that's where your blower's at. That is a direct drive blower with a reverse curve wheel on it. You guys know what a reverse curve is, right? I'm sure you deal with them probably all the time with the exhaust fans and stuff. So a lot of times I'll get a call and they'll be like, hey, the wheel's running backwards, right? Because it's supposed to be throwing it right now. It's a reverse curve. Anyways, in this control panel up here, this is just a control panel. You think this is a blower, but it's not. Right? So those are our fuses for the blower, controls, all that ends up in here. And then the nice part of all this is, look at this. This is the great feature of all this. Woo! We got a light. Okay, we got.
That actually is dope.
I know, it's pretty neat. Yeah, I know.
One of a kind in the hospital.
Yeah. So we got CT sensors over here. These are for the control guys, right? These are added on after the fact. Obviously, I'm sure you got BAS all over the place. So that's how they're proving that the blower is running, right? Then we got down below, we got our low temperature manual reset. obviously if the outdoor air damper sticks and the heat goes down and all else fails, it's supposed to trip us out. These boxes, you see them here, those are for our Eptron. So we've got discharge temperature or discharge airflow, we've got return airflow, and then we've got exhaust airflow. That's through the Eptron here. And that'll be going back to BAS. I'm sure they're taking this and saying, hey, you're gonna see it here. Okay. Inside of here, we've got our UV, our air proving switch. Okay. There is a safety switch on here. So there is a UV bulb in here. Okay. And this is what the safety switch is. I will not flip it on because number one needs two things. It needs airflow and it needs to have that switch made. I don't want anybody staring at them, so don't stare at them. Okay. And that's the transformer for the induction for the UV light is that right above there, the power pack, right? And then like here is the airflow switch, right here. That's the airflow switch.
Oh, right.
That sends back to the control. So hey, I'm running, right, for the AN equipment. Okay. And here's what my disclaimer on this. Make sure you're very careful. We just had a guy get injured with this. One of the contractors put the bulbs in wrong, and he ended up smashing in there. Other models, they're right next to the door. Had it out. Guy went to go shut it, right in his face. Blew up, and it was not a good thing. So obviously, let's be careful around it. Obviously, I'm sure you guys got them other places, but don't stare at the light, right? We've got chill water coil, we got hot water coil in here, and I'll get you guys to come back in here. We'll all bury back in the corner here. They are coated coils, so I've got them open here. I'm going to slide back here. Okay, so we got filters in there, obviously. I removed one just so we could see it, right? But they've got coated coils on there too as well. So that's got the microbiological deterrent coating on there.
Yes, sir.
You clean them the same way?
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to worry about. Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah. So I would suggest on these is instead of using, I don't know if you guys are using like HD cleaner, like new Calgon HD or anything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you're looking at something a little bit less aggressive, so you're not even coating off.
Dilute it a little more?
Yeah, exactly. You dilute it a little bit more because I don't know. I know how sometimes with the government hospitals you only get this.
Mm-hmm.
You can only use A, B, C, D, and that's it. Simple Green is another thing. If it's on your list, Simple Green works really good for cleaning the coils. Right? Do like a 4-to-1 on that, and it smells nice, and everybody's sort of happy, and you don't have to worry about any environmental crap then. So.
We use that already for food grade stuff, I think.
Yeah, and that won't harm it. So that's sort of what the manufacturer recommends is the Simple Green. So, all right, and then coming back here, we're going to go back another door, and so you can shut that door. Okay. You can see there's our sensor for our air station, right? So this is our return now. Okay, so we worked on the supply side. Now we're moving back to the return. So we've got our return dampers, we got our outside air dampers, right? And then we got an exhaust, right? So we'll have intake, exhaust, and then return. There is when we get further down, sorry, I didn't mean to put the light in your face. Further down, you're gonna see an inline barrel fan. Okay, that's direct drive. I'm assuming they're controlling it through VFD, static. I'm assuming that's probably what they're doing. I don't know what the exact controls layout is. All I'm telling you is here's a sensor that ties into the building automation. Right?
Roger that.
Right, and how it'll look on the building automation, or it should look, I should say. All right, so we got our actuators in here, and then
Behind your weight breaker, bro.
pardon me? No, that is our low limit cutout. Mixed air temperature sensor. That is mixed air temperature. Yeah, that serpentine going through there is just mixed air, right?
And you got that more so you can get a more accurate reading?
That is right. That is put in by the building automation contractor. But that sensor, see the sensor right here? That's what this is. That's sorry. That's what that is. And that'll go back to your building automation. That's where they're getting their mixed air. Okay? So guys, here's what I'm gonna say. When you're looking at this, and you're going, hey, this looks like it's really, really, really cold. Think about this because look at where it's at. It is right in line, and what's cold gonna do? It's gonna be on the bottom here. So when you probably get an initial opening of this, or it starts up, it's probably gonna hit you with a really cold temperature, and then it will start mixing, right? So I'm just giving you a heads up on that because I was just looking at that. I'm like, oh, this is something that the guys should probably know about, right? And then we got another exhaust damper motor up here, right? So what that'll do is when you know the building's obviously positive when they're bringing it out, so this should open up. Then that return air fan will be what's blowing it out, right? So the combination will be this will start to close, this will start to open. They'll probably ramp up that barrel fan is what I'm assuming back there for you. Okay, so questions on this? I'm sorry, I'm hitting this hard. Any questions on this? Okay, just an FYI because everybody misses this. There's potentiometers on here, so you can manually override the dampers if you want to test them out.
Oh shit, let me see that. Don't be going overriding shit. You know?
Yeah, when you turn this.
Oh yeah.
All right, you'll actually take and override everything. So whatever signal it's seeing, it don't care. It's saying, hey, I want to open up. And then we got the YO switches in there, right, for a reverse operation. That's underneath here.
Yeah.
It's hidden.
On the shit on actually.
Yep. And again, you shouldn't have to screw with these once they're set up. But I'm just telling you they're here because let's say you have a bad one and you get in the new one and you're like, hey man, this thing ain't working. And
it takes 3 months to get it.
Like, oh yeah, that guy told me about the underneath there, there's the little stupid dip switches. Because otherwise, like on a Belimo, they're exposed, right? You see all that. Yeah, underneath the stupid rubber, I get that call all the time.
Good,
like,
okay.
yeah. And then they got 0 to 10 and 2 to 10 on there. So depending on what signal you're operating on, I think Johnson's on a 0 to 10, right? So these should be set for 0 to 10. Because I would assume you're probably going to do a back feed off these. There is back feed off them. Because that'll give you your position. Okay?
Dope.
Questions on anything?
No sir.
Okay. All right. Destroying stuff? Oh my gosh. All right, we'll go right over here. Went through, there's a control panel for the Armstrong humidifier. If you flip open those two doors, it's one board with a transformer in there with a couple glass fuses. Very, very, very basic. So they'll just have, you'll just be doing your settings off your remote keypad. Or they might be doing it through BACnet. I don't know how that is. But
I think it's back.
yeah. And then you see on the left there, guys? Yeah, those are the ones that you want to know. So you see that those switches are the ones that you can, like we're here looking at it, and you can manually override again and test its operation. I know. Don't be looking at manual overrides, right? On the door there, they give you a little idiot card for taking in what switch does what.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Drain for
Yeah, right. Because again, all you're gonna be able to do is turn it on and then drain it, fill it. That's all. That's what you're doing. Is so you can test the solenoid. You can test, make sure it's dumping, make sure, right? Because we don't want it, hey, it's overflowing and making steam. That's pretty much what the common calls are. Those. For the most part, if we keep up with keeping the barrel clean, or the basin inside there clean, they're a great piece of equipment.
This is where the gasket that you were talking about, right?
Yeah,
Right up
exactly. On the door there, right? It's a red rubber gasket. And again, normally if you're pretty gentle about it, or if you go in there regularly, you don't normally have issues, right? It's the guys that wait 10 years and then say, hey, I'm going to do this. And then they
Go in the gasket.
Yeah, that gasket is so rock hard it falls right apart, right?
All the insulation would have to be removed to.
I would assume they probably got a union underneath there. Yeah.
Right.
Got to.
Yeah. Yep.
You would have to
Yep.
remove that.
Somewhere where it ain't gonna move.
How
if
long
you
or how often would you open it? Every year?
I would
Every
at least
7
every year. I look at again. It depends on you. It depends on what the
usage
water
of it.
looks like, right? Yeah, how much you're going to use it, how much,
Water
that
quality.
it depends on all that stuff, right? Now, am I going to say you're going to get a couple of years? I'm going to go by what the manufacturer says. Check it yearly, and blah blah blah. Right now, you guys can determine what it's going to be because you're going to know the water.
Right.
Chicago water normally pretty good, right? It's not the worst.
It's not Joliet,
Yeah.
but it's,
Yeah.
we can say the good, you know. But now this water is still going to be mixing with
It didn't
the
like
rest of the water in the
Yeah,
hospital as
right.
well. So
Yeah,
But
so
then
it's not
it's
gonna
coming off
be-
the chiller though, right? We won't be using ESG for this, right? So we'll be just getting
It
city
would-
water.
Oh yeah, this
yeah,
coming right
it's
off the
tied
chiller,
in
right?
into ESG. or no?
So we should be getting just city water,
Right,
for this,
city
right?
water,
From
right,
the
yeah.
chiller. We won't use ESG, so it could be we won't.
So
do
there's
it.
no option to fucking switch between either.
I don't know that.
That I don't know.
couldn't
But then if we
answer
lose
that.
the chiller, can we switch to
Right.
ESG?
That's
Well, that's not a chiller thing. That would be a heating thing. That's the steam generator.
No. We just in general.
yeah.
But
Oh,
we're
right,
kinda like-
yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay,
the
okay,
thing.
all right.
Because I know we going to see a chiller
Yeah,
later, right?
right,
See, right.
yeah.
So if we lose that chiller, then we.
That's what-
That's how
I think
some
you're
of
keyed up.
some other ones are.
okay.
All right, heat exchange.
Yeah, we got a heat exchanger up there, right?
And you said this is where the steam is being made.
Yes, that's the steam. That is the steam for that
Gotcha.
humidifier. Yeah.
So we're gonna send water to here. It's heating it, and
Yep.
then it's gonna heat it, send it up.
Send it
here.
up the tube, right?
Gotcha.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's why I said these are normally really reliable. They're not normally too much problems. Yeah. Going behind you there, see, we got our Grundfos pumps. So on those are a little bit different seal. And there's mechanical seals, and there are magnetic. So this is newer. This is newer piping, so you shouldn't have a ton of debris in there. Plus, they put in side stream filters from what I was looking at, and it's a sort of a closed loop. So the nice part is those magnetic bearings are different than the ceramics, right? So they'll collect the metal shavings, keep them in there, right? So if you start having one weak, I would make sure I'd have a base gasket, which would be the top gasket up here. You'll see you can take the cage off and then you can take it apart. Those can be a lot of times just pulled apart and just put your finger and clean it and put the damn thing back together. Grundfos has got a great, on their website, Grundfos Pumps USA, they've got a breakdown of how to take this apart. They got-
that's what I was.
yeah, it's
I was
pretty
looking
nice.
for these bad boys.
Yeah, it's nice.
Planning to
And
be
like
here
I
in
said,
10 years.
I've put in these before. I had a job that we replaced them on, and they were calling me a few weeks later going, hey, they're leaking. It was an old system, right? And I'm like, oh crap, I get out there, I'm like, did you run it dry? And that's the normal stuff, right? Sure as heck it was because of metal content, right? Came in there, cleaned them, put it back together, and they're great.
That's dope.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's cool.
they really came up with nice designs. Those are nice little pumps.
4 or 5 years, they're gonna order some shit that ain't meant for it anyway.
They got again, depending on how hard you're operating them. You see the red tops there, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
Just
reliefs.
once, just a grease,
Grease.
one or two pumps at the most.
Yeah, grease.
Yeah, do not be the over greaser. Okay, over grease them, you'll burn out the motors. Okay, so don't do that. Normally once a year, you're good to go.
Don't be the over greaser.
Right.
Yeah, don't be the over greaser. Yes.
Over
Yes.
greaser.
I don't want to come back here in a couple of years and see these things like mounted up. So they don't require a lot. They're pretty good. Moving back, right above your head. You see that silver canister? That silver canister is a side stream filter. I don't know if you got those in the other parts of the building, but that is one thing that I really like about putting in new systems now. That cartridge filter what that will do is get a lot of the debris out. Those, I would say, in the beginning, you might want to check it at 6 months when it first starts, right? But then once a year, just replace those cartridges inside there. If they look clean, it's fine.
replace
Again,
them,
it's normally once you get the debris out of there, and as long as you're not introducing a bunch of new water to it, then they don't need a ton of maintenance. But if you're introducing new water for whatever reason, then that cartridge filter needs to have some maintenance. Okay?
But once a year, you saying no matter what?
Pardon me?
Once a year, no matter what?
Again, it's up to you guys. If they're dirty and they look,
But then if not, if I check it this year and it's not dirty, I'm not coming back to next year. It might be too late.
right.
Yeah, so,
I mean, if you got the budget and it's cheap insurance, is what I'm getting at, right?
got you.
Yeah. Above your head there, that's called a roll-a-troll. You've got those all over the place. All that is the big scrubber inside there, and it's got an air eliminator on the top of it, right? and then you can get a shower there. You know, that's a serviceman's shower. One thing I would tell everybody, and I'm sure you guys already know it, is at least once a year when you're in here doing your maintenance, just give it a blowout, make sure it's clear. That's it. What that does, when you blow that out, it gets all the garbage and debris out of there, right? But it also tests a couple other things. And make sure your air eliminator is going to work, because you're going to introduce, you know, drop the pressure, and then you're going to hear it, right? And then also, you're going to know that your water fill valve is working too, right? So it does a few tests. That's why I always say that's a simple test to do. Is flush it out, make sure it's clean, and then make sure your air eliminator and your fill valve work. Down on the bottom there, you got a black tank, the expansion tank. I believe that's a Grundfos tank. It's got a gauge on the front of it, and it also has, I'm pretty sure it's got a little white or an indicator in there. It's got a little button in there. Okay, what that's for is it's sort of nice. They started doing that a few years ago. If that diaphragm ruptures, it'll turn
The white,
colors, right? And that way you know that diaphragm's ruptured, right?
Nice.
And then they also got an isolation valve on the top there. Again, it's up to you guys. Every year you can just take and test it with a pressure gauge, right?
Right here.
Make sure it's got the right amount of pressure on it. And you obviously got to shut off the valve and release the pressure off it before you check the pressure on the diaphragm.
But they should. They're brand new.
Okay.
So we're gonna drag this here first before you change the filter, right?
Over to your left, the VFDs, the Scala VFDs. Yes, yeah. Nice job, Vanna. You got the Scala VFDs. Those for running the pumps. Normally, again, power outages. You might see a base block BB. They'll flash. They'll say BB on them. They'll normally need to be reset if they get a single phase operation. They will. The Scalas will run on single phase. So they'll generate the 3-phase power and they will run on single phase, but then they'll go on over current. So again, they're a pretty reliable drive. I've found that they're pretty bulletproof as opposed to some other drives. So they're very basic. If you need service on them, they are local. They're in Vernon Hills. You can give them a call. Their technical service is outstanding. Yeah, they really do help out. They're great. But I wouldn't think that you need them unless, you know, they got books back there for you. And they explain pretty well. The Scout has been a pretty good drive. It used to have a pretty bad rep, but it's really a good product now. So, all right. I'd say that's pretty much about it on my, I'm sorry. I forgot our barrel fan.
Oh, that's gonna be a motherfucker to change that motor.
All right, so up there, it's your inline barrel fan. That's our return fan / exhaust fan, right?
Where we at with it?
Direct drive
On
on one of those VFDs over there. There is, you see on the far, when you're looking at it, the far left, there's an access panel in there. Again, they are direct drive, but it, again, doesn't hurt to every year or two take a look in there and see what's going on, right?
Gotta get a lot of here to try.
Yeah.
Gee, I can't get my fat ass
Getting
in
in
there.
between now, yeah.
We need to hire a skinny motherfucker. That's what the fuck
That's
we need.
Jay Sean.
I don't think Jay Sean can.
So again, you
But
can
no,
get up in
I'm
there,
sorry, sir.
pull that side panel, that'll give you access to see what's going on up there. Motor and the blade, that's all there is in there. Okay?
They'll never they'll never think about the service guy.
And that's about it.
How you getting up there?
My,
What you doing with that?
Roger. It'd been cool if the panel was fucking right there.
On the bottom or something, right?
Nah, it's all good. Don't we just don't worry. It's a Cadillac, but you know we bitching about the tires right now.
No, all good. Yeah, they're not white walls. Yeah. You guys got any questions?
Actually, no, sir. You did a fucking
Oh, good. Yeah. Yep. I will have.
These pumps are not turned on. We still got pressure on them. We got water running through them, right? Right now.
I felt the thing. I didn't feel nothing, but I could.
If you need it. Okay? If you got any questions, then you feel free to shoot me an email. You gotta imagine I got a million other customers, but email I can normally get back to you. If you got an emergency, obviously you go through the contractor or through,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Thanks again.
All right.
How many gigs you got
Yep.
in there?
And then